Hey, what's up guys? Coach Nate here from The Run Experience with super special guest, 3-time Olympian and former American record holder in the 5K, Dathan Ritzenhein. That's right, you have Nathan and Dathan today. And we're gonna be talking about how to run your fastest 5K. Dathan's gonna share some great tips. Let's dig into it. Thanks to UCAN Nutrition for bringing Dathan to you in front of this camera. He actually got flown out here with Dathan for some events and we got to snag him. And as part of our little video here, UCAN is gonna hook you up with this UCAN sample pack, which you can get for $5. It includes a little pre, a little post, and a bar. And Dathan, you use this stuff right now.
Absolutely. My favorite go-to, the chocolate peanut butter bar. I love them. I eat at least one every day.
Oh man, it is like running crack, but in a good way. So go ahead and hit that link down below, get your UCAN bar, and let's go ahead and talk about some 5K tips. So there's something magical and special about the 5K. It doesn't matter if you're a super experienced athlete or if it's your first run you're tackling. We all like to go a little bit faster, and you know something about that yourself. You know, tell us what it was like when you got that American record.
Yeah, when I broke that American record, ran 12:56 for 5K. That was.
And what's like the average pace for that?
That is 4:08 per mile for 3.1 miles. It's pretty fast, but yeah, I mean, you know, like that's what's special about the 5K though. It's fast. You know, you feel fast doing it. But it's an endurance event, so it takes both, you know.
Trying to survive, that's like the longest 12 minutes and 56 seconds of your life, you know, when it's done right. So we're really excited to have you here today to kind of share some of your tips on really how to run your fastest 5K. And, you know, we were talking about some things that are often really beneficial, but actually kind of overlooked.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's things that make or break that race. I mean, making or breaking a 5K, you got to be fast, but you got to be strong. So you got to build a big foundation, but you got to develop that speed every day. You got to be able to do quick turnover as well. And a lot of people forget that. They do one or the other, but it really takes both.
That's awesome. So today we're actually going to get into two major tips. First one really addressing that turnover, and the other one addressing that foundation. All right, so tip number one here is going to be addressing that turnover and that quickness aspect. So what do you got for us?
Well, you know, I think every athlete needs to be able to develop that top end speed. Well, you don't necessarily have to go to the track and be doing ripping fast intervals. You have to first start with shorter bouts of that. And so the most underlooked, most important thing, strides. It's something that you can do a couple times a week. I always like to do them the day before my workouts because it helps to rev up the engine, kind of loosen everything up, and kind of it's like a neurotransmitter. It helps the body really get ready to run fast the next day, so you actually get more out of the workout day the day after.
Right, so when you're going into that first speed workout, you're not like, oh my God, I've never run this fast before. You've just done this high speed turnover. So let's back up one step, and for those of you guys who may have heard of strides but aren't really sure what they are, how are they different from, say, a speed workout?
Strides are different because we're not talking sprints. We want to be close to running, you know, a maximal effort, but it's different. We don't need to necessarily go to the well either and tear a hamstring. It should be maybe something like 90% of the speed of full capacity.
So kind of like a sub-maximal sprint.
Yes, and I would say about 100 meters is good. So depending on how fast you are, you don't necessarily need to go to the track, but maybe 20 seconds. That should be about what it is. And then make sure there's a little bit of time between it, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Really super easy jog, or just stand and walk for a little bit.
Interesting. So many times with running, when we're doing intervals, the rest ratio is usually pretty short, but this time the rest is as long, if not longer, than the work portion.
Yeah, so we don't want it to turn it into a workout. That's what's going to happen the next day. The important thing is that it's neuromuscular for the body, but it's not taxing, you know, aerobically or anaerobically for the system, which means you're not tired from the next day. You should feel better. Whereas the workout, you're going to feel tired the next day because the workout was extended a lot longer.
Perfect. So you're going to hit your stride session, you know, right before maybe a quality day, before you're hitting a speed session. And what does it look like? What are some good recommendations for people to start with? Like, how many strides should they do? We kind of said they should be about 100 meters, 20 seconds in length.
And if you're not doing them already, a good rule of thumb is start at probably like four times 20 seconds maybe, and at that 90% of max. So 4 times, take a minute between them, and then maybe after a couple of weeks go up to 6, and then maybe up to 8. And then you probably don't, 8 to 10 might be the max for someone running a lot of training. After you get past 10, it becomes a lot. I mean, 8 times 100 meters is still a half a mile of fast running.
So you're still getting a lot of work in there.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to save that for when it really counts. Fantastic. So we get that quick turnover, translates really nicely into some better kind of form work and mechanics, more efficient running, a little bit more of that, fast twitch as we were sort of talking about. We're going to address the next piece in the second clip, which is really about kind of laying the groundwork and the foundation.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Now, we're really going after our fastest 5K today, not just a good one. And you were just talking about how we need to think a little bit longer and not just, that 5K that we could potentially do tomorrow or 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think a lot of us think of a 5K as just being, anybody can run one. They do have Couch to 5K programs, so how hard is that? And it is true. Anybody can really get out and run a 5K, so it's a great foundation for anybody. But if you really want to run your best 5K, you got to think about it more like how we think of half marathons or marathons, like a training program, because you got to look past like 2 to 3 weeks. You can run one at any time, but really to run your best, it takes a couple of months of specific faster workouts and having good solid base, and so it's not necessarily that you have to focus on it for 6 months like you do a marathon, but you need to devote a couple of good months to training if you really want to run your fastest one.
Yeah. So do you recommend like potentially other races as a way to build up? Like, would you incorporate kind of like practice 5Ks on the way to your fastest one?
Definitely. I'm always an advocate for racing. Is good because it puts you in a state of hurt that you're not going to do ever in practice.
Yeah.
In practice, you could do a time trial, but you're never going to run that fast. So sometimes shorter races are always better, but 5K a lot of times is about the shortest you can find on a regular basis. They do have mile races and things like that, which are great. I always think that's a great thing. But, you might have to just find a 5K and just train through it. Yeah. Maybe that's part of your program where you spend, your goal race is 2 to 3 months out. So, you have 1 or 2 5Ks in there where you just don't rest for it and you just go and you see how you feel.
So it's kind of a day just to kind of develop that strength and that foundation, everything, and just to kind of set the tone. Like, when you were running your best 5K, like, what was your training looking like the months going into it?
My best 5K, when I ran 12:56, it was only 11 days after the World Championships when I was 6th place in the 10K. And so I was in the heat of racing a lot. And even before that, a week before that, 6 days before that, I ran 13:44 at 6,000 feet in a time trial. So we were hitting it really, really hard. And so, you have to have those opportunities where you put yourself in the hurt locker, basically, so to speak, because in practice, you never will ever go that hard. And so races, whether they're another 5K and you're just in a fatigue state, or you can find a mile road race or something like that, even if it's a 10K, it's going to be longer, but it makes you go harder than you would in practice. And so if your goal is to run your fastest 5K, you have to have gone as hard, maybe not as fast, but as hard at some point that you're planning to go in that race.
Almost practicing that mental suffering as much as the physical component as well.
And not feeling like, oh man, I'm feeling so, I got to back off. You have to be ready to kind of plow through it, And so if you go to a race and you're tired, and you can take something back from that and say, all right, I know how hard I can go. Now when I freshen up and I'm at the end of my training program, I know that I can go that hard, but I'm going to be that much faster.
Oh man, so really telling us that racing doesn't get any easier.
You got to practice being in pain.
That's the worst. So if you really want to go after that fastest 5K, adding those strides in on a regular basis, getting that quick speed turnover is so important, as well as really thinking a little bit bigger picture about that foundation, both about getting the miles in, but then giving yourself opportunities to suffer at those higher levels, because if I haven't raced at all, that first race is not going to be tapping into my real potential.
Absolutely. You got to practice. Practice makes perfect.
There we go.
And then it's another day in the office.
I was gonna say, it's like Us Weekly, you know, it's like celebrities drink coffee too. Yeah. Elite runners put away tripods too. They're just like the rest of us.
Putting away the tripod.
There you go. Yeah.
Dathan, when you're the intern at the Run Experience, you can't complain about these things. If you want to be part of the team, you gotta, you know, put in the work just like everyone else.
If I have to have an internship, then it's that's not going to be a good thing. But I've had interns at Ritz Running LLC before, so it's like you know, it's like Kramerica Industries.
Kramerica Industries. I love it. Hope you like Dathan's 5K tips, and again, special thanks to UCAN for flying this dude out so he can share. The way that you can, you know, help us out in return is to check out this link down below.
It's backwards.
Is it backwards? Oh my goodness, I had it backwards. So now you can see this incredible little packet of UCAN goodies. You'll get a post, a little powder mix, as well as Dathan's favorite flavor, the chocolate peanut butter.
Yep.
And also the base of his smoothies.
That's right.
$5, free shipping. Just click the link down below. And of course, if you like this video, hit that like button down below. Drop any comments or questions on what we talked about, as well as subscribe to our channel, because we actually have a few more videos with Dathan popping up. You don't want to miss those. So hit that subscribe, and hey, we're gonna keep filming, so we'll see you in the next one.